Hello, everyone. We are happy to have Eve Starr back with us. She was here showing us her art a few months ago, and today she wants to talk about the topic of, in general, the role of art in astrology. Eve, did you have anything on your mind specifically?
I mean, I could talk about it for a year and have had a little bit, but very limited conversation with other astrologers about it. So I'm just happy to jam and riff and hear what y'all have to think. I'm just pretty ecstatic to be having this conversation and for it to get shared because I feel that it is integral to the discipline and new and different. And yeah, I'm just curious to hear y'all's experiences and your thoughts and share mine. And I'm so excited.
Well, I use art in astrology a lot. In fact, one of the things I think astrologers' main job is to be magical. And a lot of the ways that people are magical is by predicting things or, getting spot on with the chart. And I prefer to be magical by use of art in astrology, whether it be looking at people's color palette. Can I tell you a magical story about art in the chart?
Hmm.
Oh, do.
Okay. So, you know, well, this is kind of okay. Well, I've made a lot of art from this one chart I'm going to tell you the story about. So my astro twin Larry, he and I had met a lot, but I'd never like met him really up close. We'd met like online and stuff like that. And we were born 2 days apart, same year, and so he's my twin. And he's a Scorpio-ish sun, Aquarius moon, and Aries rising. And so I built him this Magic the Gathering deck to the colors of his chart. And,
Whoa.
so I built him red, green, and black. Green for Aquarius, red for Aries, and black for Scorpio. So I built him this deck and I give it to him. I'd never met him in person, really. I mean, I met him once, but I didn't really like see him very closely. He was in this video that I made. So I give him the deck and he's like looking at it. He's like, what the hell? And he like unveils his tattoos. He's covered in tattoos and they're all red, green, and black.
Wow.
And it's like, and so now I've made him quilts in red, green, and black. I've made him bouquets of flowers in red, green, and black. And I think, the color theory aspect of astrology is just profound. So
Hmm.
I don't know. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you use astrology in art?
So I used art to learn astrology, firstly, because I started learning astrology. I got very intrigued by it, and I couldn't just take in the information. I needed to interact with it. So I started painting from the time that I was like 0, but I had gone away from it. And so it was kind of like, wait, how am I going to interact with this? And then I just went right to art. And so it was really this rebirth of my art because I had not been creating visual art for about a decade. And I began interacting with the information, with the glyphs, with the charts by creating paintings that were visual representations of the the archetypes that were coming through to me in the chart. And what I have found throughout all the years, because like I didn't know anything when I started, and it began to be revealed to me through the images. So like the images were my teachers. The inspiration that was coming through was my teachers, and were my teachers in the beginning, like not books,
Hmm.
but just what was coming through visually. And over and over and over, I would find out on the other side of putting it on the canvas that it was accurate to the chart in some way and that it was revealing something that had been previously unseen.
Hmm.
So that's what I find that like letting go of that like overly mental apprehension of it brings us into this zone where we can really perceive gnosis, the living sacred text, like all sacred text once just came through a human channel.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I just like I can't get enough of it. It's so cool, and it's humbling, and it gives you this perception of the energy and the being of astrology that's beyond the intellect.
Well, and so much of what astrology describes is tone or vibe. And I think when we try to describe vibe with words, we fall short. And I think vibe with art is actually a better expression of like how does this person feel or, you know,
Yeah.
um, Yeah, making art projects like when I make chart beads to people's chart, it's like I li literally download their vibe, and I'm just like, oh, I can kind of feel their
Mm,
jam. Like a Scorpio, for example, I have all this black in my screen because three planets in Scorpio, and I identify with Scorpio a lot. Some people say I'm a Libra technically, but the thing is, it's like I'm showing a certain vibe with
yeah.
this colors here. You know what I'm saying? And that has a certain tone of personality. Scorpio has this kind of deep tone to the personality. And if I was wearing pink, you just wouldn't get the same vibe,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
So Jay-Z, how do you use art in astrology?
Um, well, I am the receiver of many art gifts from you, right? So, like, oh wait, here are some beads that you made. And I think I've been using the kind of things that you make and send to me, right? To so that I learn more about things too. Like what is the well, this is not related, but the things that you chose to put on here and why and the meanings. And yeah, so I think that kind of harkens back to what you were saying, Eve, about like learning what symbols you feel are appropriate for a certain thing and then um kind of putting them all together and making art with that.
Hmm.
So Eve, what kinds of things do you do? Do you take like a sun, moon, and rising combo and then put those in the artwork or like tell us more.
So what I have done to date is really focused on painting. Andrea deeply inspires me to get like multi-textural with it because the painting is very intensive. It's a lot of time, it's a lot of work. And I want to be able to channel it through art in new and different ways. I'm very inspired by that. But yeah, to date, it's been all paintings, and I'm just very intuitive with it. So sometimes it won't be sun, moon, or rising. It'll be like what their Venus is doing just breaks open in my field, and that's what everything comes out of. So I just intuitively look at the chart, and there will be like some part of it that's just like kind of shimmering. And then I go into that and perceive the images that are coming through.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, and it's like landscapes and symbolism, and I put the planets in there, and I'll have accidents,
Do you want
you
to
know.
show us one of your pieces?
Um, the one that there's a couple that come to mind where the happy accidents, I didn't prepare to show any pieces though.
Okay, okay,
Um,
that's fine. If you want to see more of Eve's art, you can look at her other video where we show her art a lot in there.
yeah.
But one of the other reasons I like to use art with astrology is to show merit of learning. So like how in the Boy Scouts they give you patches for, merit badges. One of the things I found is in learning astrology, there's gradients of, I have to learn my sun. I know my sun sign, right? And then I know my sun moon rising, and then I know my aspects or kind of thing. And it's like people get kind of overwhelmed with the learning process. But what I do to kind of keep them going is give like merit-based art projects. So like let's say they learn about their sun sign, I might give them like Virgo beads, like they're all like wheat on the chaff. And I'm like, here's your Virgo beads. You learned about Virgo. But then
Hmm.
when they learn about their sun, moon, and rising, I give them a bouquet of their sun, moon, and rising. And so it's like it kind of conveys that like I see you and you see you, and
Yeah.
here's a picture of you here, and then the beats can get as complex as like a whole chart with numbers and everything like that. Rarely does someone get to that point where they you know. But GZ, you use a visual representation to watch your transits, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's oh yeah, here, I'll show you. Uh Yeah, my the things that I do are more mechanical too. I put but this is
That's
my chart,
rad.
so now everybody
That's
can see it. But and then I have these magnets that I circle around the wheel as time goes and I look at them in the morning and move them to where they should be. And
So that's your natal chart, and then the magnets are the transits.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
That's cool.
The sun's not here right now, it's more over here. But I mean the moon.
Uh-huh.
But you get the idea. That's kind of where things are right now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's kind of art in some ways. It's a visual. I feel like astrology also encompasses a lot of visuals. I mean, so let's talk about that. Like, what is the how does art and astrology benefit from the visual influence of art?
Yeah, exactly. To me, it's a one-to-one correlation because we're talking about a visual phenomena. We go out into the living world at night, look up at the sky, discern what is what, who is who, and and then we make our records and we track the data over time and we discern the patterns and then we come up with the meanings and all of that is like taking, it's like degrees of separation away from the original phenomena to get to the place where we can interact about it through language. But when you bring back in the visual through art, you're stepping closer to what the thing actually is. So I think there's my experience in making art, and like this is what I desire to convey to those who receive it. But ultimately, I think like I probably need to teach it because my experience is like it's like coming into the holy of holies. It's like when I am engaging my sight and my whole body through the process of like channeling it through my body, through my hands, then I'm getting this very holy, like awe-inspiring experience of the living world. And that's, after all, what it is. But the majority of astrology, like the way we interact about it, is just with, as Terence McKenna would say, small mouth noises. That's like here.
Hmm.
And like it's here, but it's like here and here, but like I have this whole body. And
Hmm.
like the thing is all around me and it's alive, it's moving all the time. And so to move with it, like you just experience it in a different way.
Oh my God, I love that. You bring that is so cool because that's like when I'm making people's chart beats, I'm like, I feel you. It's like it's not
Yeah.
like I feel you. It's like, oh, I feel you. It's like your whole thing, I can feel it. Okay, so that is so interesting. And that's very Piscean. I mean, we're all Pisceans here, and it's like I think Pisceans make great astrologers because they can feel the vibe and tone of a person's aura and just sensibility. And it's like I don't know that people's auras make a lot of sense to me when I know the chart and things like that. So that made me think of gnosis, which is an experiential knowledge of a thing, right? So it's like, um, you know, we a gnosis of a chart would be like if you draw it or paint it, then you kind of know that chart. Like, is
Mhm.
that kind of how you would think? You mentioned gnosis. How would you describe gnosis?
Yeah, that's exactly how I would describe it. And it does happen to all of us when we give readings as well, right? Like you're sitting with a client, the chart is infinite in all directions. Like you can really take it any direction and you can use your brain to do that, but a lot of times like you'll get a sense or you'll get an image or you'll get a thought, like a random thought. And if you just go with that, then or like you're just I'll be called to one part of the chart and it may be like their Vesta, and like I haven't even mentioned their sun, but like I'm called to one particular part of the chart because like I feel it in my body, and that gnosis is the living experience of the chart. And I think that I'm because I didn't give client readings for a decade, and now I'm full-time consulting astrologer and I'm very good at it. And I think a large part of it is because I learned to interact with the information in this way and just like really trust what's coming through.
Mhm.
So like there's a little touch of psychic, and there always is with astrologers, but like there's definitely a psychic quality in like what little rabbit trail you decide to follow. So,
Yeah,
but
maybe
yes,
that is the mark of a psychic astrologer is someone who can feel you. You know what I mean? It's like who's feeling it in that total body experience, who's not just feeling it like in this brain ticker verbal way, we are feeling the chart, and I think that's a really good delineation, because I feel like Pisces astrologers is very different than like an Aquarian astrologer, which are they're more air, and they more on that ticker tape of verbal, whereas the Pisces astrologer is more of this feeling based, when someone's in a transit, like we can feel that energy coming off of them.
Mhm.
Do you feel auras, Eve?
I have not cultivated that gift. It does happen sometimes, and I'm like, whoa, like, oh wow, I think I can see your aura. And particularly like when the light is not as bright.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, what
and
does it look like?
it's like light, but it'll be different shades of light.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So yeah, but not it's not often. It's not very often at all, but it's happened enough that I know that if I cultivated that I would be able to.
So
Hmm.
if okay, let's say you're just looking at a chart. What comes to mind versus if you've drawn the chart in a painting, how
Mm.
would you read the chart differently if you've painted it or not?
Mm, that's a good question. Yeah, like a lot of the paintings that I've done, I never did a reading for the person because I was making art for a decade and not giving readings at all. I was just only offering the art. Um, and I would try to tell them about it in words, and I couldn't because I was just so deep in this nonverbal space with what was coming through. It was like this, it was this living gnosis coming through that I was only able to capture in images. And now I'm doing way more readings than I am art because I'm moving the part of my business forward that makes me the most money the quickest so that then I can go make more art. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, but I do. So I have these because they have not yet gotten mailed to a client. So these are two examples of what I do with my client work, the art that I am still doing. And I
Mhm.
do this with most clients. So it's my original artwork. A lot of them are paintings. These ones are just pretty black and whites. But it's my original artwork that while I'm sitting with them, I draw the chart. Um, so it's pretty much, and sometimes I don't draw the chart, but it's just so much a part of my process, even when I'm not doing a painting, even when I am just drawing the chart out, like I'm engaging my whole body and the curves of the glyphs and making it look beautiful that like I really don't even know how to separate it. They really come together for me. Even when I'm not doing one of these, I'm still engaging it in that visual way. Like I get images all the time,
Mhm.
constantly.
I think an astrologer who draws the chart by hand is very different than somebody who just prints it out on a computer. And this is said by a lot of astrologers that people who are hand drawers really download the chart as they're drawing it. It's like every time I draw something, because I hand draw charts too, and it's like I'll draw, Mars and Virgo, and it's like I can feel that part of their system as I draw. I'm like, okay, Mars and Virgo,
Yes.
and then, so I think hand drawing it does create you get to know each piece of the puzzle as you're documenting it. Whereas if you just print it on a computer, it's just a bunch of noise. And I, I do
Yeah.
think hand drawers, dare I say, are better astrologers.
Mm, it's a
If you,
daring statement.
if you disagree with me, you can call my agent. Uh,
Call your agent. I'm not calling your agent.
yeah, no, you agree enough, huh? Yeah. Yeah, well, my agent has like a hand-drawn chart on their wall. No, no, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying. Okay. All right, JC, do you have any value questions?
Oh, well, no, I have some other questions, some
Okay, you're doing good
in
because you're reading
value
your
questions.
book. Show us the book you're reading.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's called How to Think on Your Feet. It's written by improv trainers, and it's geared towards people in business life or just people's regular life. And their whole premise is that the whole life is a stage thing, right? Like every day everybody improvises. Like you get up, you put on your costume, and then things happen and you have to react to them all, right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I love that. And you're thinking on your feet right now because you're gonna ask some improv questions.
Yes. So, no, so my question is, Eve, do you need the person to be in the same room as you to feel what their chart is like or says, and like how does that information download?
I don't. I can't think of ever. I have done a couple. No, so I always do a consultation. So even if it's long distance, there are lots of people I've done commissions for that I've never met in person, but I do a Zoom consultation. So I've always gotten in touch with their field, and I get them to co-collaborate as much as possible. And a lot of people are totally hands off. And some people have preferences, but usually the kind of client that I draw is someone who wants me to channel it through. But I'm like, are there color preferences? Is there anything you don't like? And I'm talking with them for an hour, and I'm just feeling out their energy and their personality. And I know that process is integral of like really getting in touch with their field to tune into what wants to come through.
Nice.
Oh,
So, yeah, but
interesting.
they don't have to be in the room at the same time. Like when I'm doing paintings, they'll take me a couple of weeks to a month. So,
Can you imagine if they were in the same room at the whole time?
well, it's like a portrait, right? You have to sit there. No,
What if
that
they
is
had to
something
sit still the whole time?
that's
Yeah,
something I
and you
want to
weren't
do.
drawing them, you were just drawing their chart, but you're like, stop moving. Like,
No, you
and
know
then at
what?
the end, they're like, "Oh, explain this to me." You're like, "The picture says it all."
Y'all are
Moira,
making me
stop
want to do that.
transiting.
You're making me want to do that. Like now I want to have somebody in my studio when I'm doing their chart because that's what led me to create these is I was like I would be doing the painting and just getting these crazy downloads about this person's life and their transits and who they are and who they're becoming in this life, like their soul path. And then by the time I had channeled it all through and brought the painting to them, like it was gone. Like I couldn't,
Oh.
it was just gone. I couldn't bring a word of it back.
I was like, how do you know it's not an upload? How come people are always downloading from the universe, but they're never uploading? I don't
Sometimes it
know.
can upload for sure.
I was like, maybe if you uploaded it, it'd still be in your hard drive. No, I don't know.
It'd be a side load.
Oh my God,
Yes.
sideload.
Andy, this is reminding me of some of the chart drawings that you've done, like when we were doing the Twitch stream, and you're like, okay, this is for the day or whatever, and then you did a video of you drawing it, and then like your cat walks through, and then
Oh
the
yeah, I have a
yeah.
whole playlist of chart draw videos.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you're ever bored, you can watch it, but they're actually quite mesmerizing because they're
I
on
want to see.
time lapse and stuff. Well, it's really weird. Oh, go ahead.
I just really want to hop on that if I can.
Oh,
I
sure.
have an amazing story that this was like right when I started drawing astrology, charts, painting charts. I had an experience where I had done this piece. It wasn't astrological, but this was like so key to how I would then proceed with the rest of my career and life. I had done this piece on this really fine paper. It was like handmade paper that cost, $22 just for one sheet of paper. And I had done Sanskrit calligraphy of this verse from the Vedas for a beloved of mine. And I had like labored over it for weeks getting that calligraphy correct. And I lived in Seattle and it was rainy. And my fucking cat ran in the window and ran across the calligraphy and like got her paw. I saw her paw prints on the calligraphy, and like I've never in my life actually wanted to hurt a creature, but I had to leave. So I just got up and left the apartment and went and got an espresso, walked to the coffee shop to walk it off, got an espresso, came back, and I looked at that piece of art, and it was so some different black inks will have different color components. This black ink had like purple and indigo color components to it, and everywhere where she had stepped, it like swirled out and it looked like galaxies.
Wow.
It was
Whoa.
stunning. Like it had been nice before, but it was stunning. And I took
She
my,
was just helping you paint.
Yeah,
she
that's
was.
some wabi sabi moment right there.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that is the thing. Like you can't bring that through when you're just in your head. But like that's how it came through on the canvas. But then like the actual information from the chart will come through like that.
Hmm.
And it's so magical.
Well, you know what is really magical to have several different chart artists draw your chart, right? Because each of us are drawing it with our eyes, our imprint, but it would be on your imprint, right? It's like your chart drawings are different than mine, than different than Jay-Z's or whatever. But it's like recently I went to a wedding and they said like no wedding presents. I was like, yeah, right. And I like totally drew the chart of their wedding and framed it and like I really was like, I really want, this is a blessed, magical moment, and I'm going to and capture this into this thing you can put on your wall forever. And it's like, I think, there is something about the art component of astrology where we can capture the kind of uh magical and sacred nature of charts in art, right? Like if a baby's born, I wouldn't necessarily hire an astrologer to get a chart reading for the baby. I would hire an astrologer to draw the chart of the baby and have it be on the wall. And like your chart drawings are like $2,000, but like if there's some babies, if they're born in wealthy families, it's like heck yeah, let's get that chart for that baby because it's a baby, it's a human has arrived. You know what I mean? So
Big deal.
yeah, so Gigi, let me ask you this. What events in your life would you hire an astrologer to draw so you could put on the wall? Better think on your feet now. See, I'm testing him.
Oh, well, I do have to say I do like my natal chart, and I do think that is important. And I do have a copy of my natal chart that you drew for me like 20 years
Oh
ago.
God, the 20 years ago me was terrible at drawing charts.
Well, I have that hanging on the wall in my studio,
Ah,
so
Priceless.
yeah,
Priceless.
yeah. Yeah, and
yeah.
when you get kind of, I guess you could say well known as an astrologer, which I'm sure you will be, Eve, it's like then it becomes like a sacred object because it's like it would be like getting a Picasso on your chart. You know what I'm saying?
Totally. Exactly.
So,
Yeah, and that's also like that was I mean, I was obsessed with like that was what started the whole thing. Also was like this is the most beautiful, incredible thing in the whole world. Like as soon as I learned about astrology, I was like nothing else in the world matters. This is so important. The moment of your birth and we can look at the planets and it's in a chart and it has symbolism and meaning like it cannot be a printout. Like as an artist, as a Venusian soul, I couldn't handle it. I was like, no, this is sacred. It has
yes.
to be art.
Yeah, yeah. Well, okay, so it's interesting. My best friend Billy, who's I guess also the producer, the music producer on at Moira Press, but he's a Sag Sun, but he's a Scorpio moon. I can say that because he's a public person. So he has a Scorpio moon, and he's so Scorpio. He's a metalhead. It's Scorpio in the 11th house, so he like holds down the metal community. He's a Moon Neptune Mercury conjunction in Scorpio. And so, it's like I will make him all kinds of art to his Scorpio because he thinks he's a Sag, but he's so Scorpio. So I make him like beads with scorpions all over him. So like in the front when you go into his house, there's like all these scorpions hanging down on the thing. And I made him a rosary the other day with a crystal skull on the end. And like, so I think there's also something to be said for like he's not super into astrology, but as astrology artists, we can bring astrology to the layman by saying, here's a freaking goth rosary, a metal rosary for you, where you're like honoring the person's ethos even if he doesn't know he's a Scorpio moon, I'm like, you're a metalhead, right? And this is your Scorpio moon. And so you basically, I keep teaching him his chart with these art pieces that I make specifically for him. And then when you go in his house, you like see him all over the place. So I think on a kind of show business level, there's a branding and styling element to
Yeah.
being an astrological artist. We did that with you, Jay-Z. We did a styling meeting where we took your sun, moon, and rising and we looked at outfits in the colors of those and we put you in palaces and all kinds of things. So it's like I think there's something beyond just
Mhm.
this isn't just like small potatoes important. It's actually from a tribal elder standpoint, we're holding down the spirits of people by showing them their spirit over and over again art in art, you know.
Yes, yes. I'm just getting so inspired by you, Andy, to branch out from painting.
Oh, oh, beads are
Like,
a big one. And the tribal
oh,
elders would give beads all the time. I mean, it's sorry.
wait. Oh, I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I'll keep you posted what comes through. I'm
Yeah,
getting
Eve,
really
have I made you your chart beads before?
no.
Oh my God. Okay, after this episode, I'm so gonna make your chart beads as a thank you anyway. Um,
And I'll do one of these for you.
okay, okay, if you think that's an equal trade.
I would love to do that.
Okay, can I change the subject?
Okay, wait. Can first I wanna show something. I won't dox you, Andy, but by showing your chart, but this is a chart that I made of Andy's chart. This is an art piece that I made of Andy's chart, and
You
you
can
can
have my chart.
see that. Oh, okay. So the stuff is made out of nails and a plank of wood.
Brad.
That's
I
so
Yeah,
love
manly.
it.
yeah.
It is. It is. I love it. I would put that on my wall. I love it.
Dude, we should both make art of Eve's chart and send it to her.
Oh, yeah, that sounds fun.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay.
I'll make you both one of these.
Oh,
Okay.
nice. That's a good trade.
Love it.
We'll
Nice.
totally show it on the show and stuff. We'll wrap it. You're one of my favorite astrological artists, though. Like Jay-Z, if you're ever curious, you should look at the video of her art because it's actually insane. It's like on Japanese scrolls, and it's like if you ever want to scroll your chart, like whoa, like
Oh,
it's
The
epic.
nice.
scrolls are my favorite. I love the scrolls.
Yeah. Yeah, she does not have a janky style. Like her style is just and it's all this it's on black and it's all metallic golds and stuff. It's just so cool.
Well, Venus and Capricorn, so
Nice.
everything's got to be just like
Hmm.
exquisitely classy.
Yeah. Until the cat comes in. Okay, wait, I have a question for us.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Let's talk about art as a talisman.
Mhm.
So let's say there's a intense astrological configuration. Let's say the sun and Mars are conjunct in Aries and it's really red outside and it's like in the clouds and stuff like that. Could we make art that encompasses a certain transit that then acts as a talisman? What do you guys think of that?
I love that question.
Mm. I thought on my feet and came up with it. I didn't have any questions. This is totally an improv hour.
Oh,
Excellent.
nice.
So what do you guys think?
Excellent.
Is that a talisman? Is it not a talisman?
I don't know what the definition of a talisman is to like it will the piece of artwork become a talisman? I guess if it depends if you can fit it in your pocket.
Okay, let's look up definition of a talisman. Well, okay, maybe a better question is how could we use it to, not necessarily, let's say somebody has a weak Mars in their natal chart. Could we
Mm.
make a piece of art on a Mars
Mhm.
heavy moment and having them look at it? Does that remedy their weak Mars?
It's something that I've thought an awful lot about because I'm very attracted to that. And also, I'm a bit of a chaos magician. Like, I was born very, very close to a solar eclipse, full solar eclipse. And I like, I bring through things by accident. I'm not enough of a rigorous scholar to trust myself. Like, Austin and Caitlin Kopic with Sphere and Sundry, what they do is absolute art. I mean, they're making materia medica, but it's so artistic and so gorgeous. And I often will just ache to do that with my paintings, but like they are so powerful in and of themselves because of what they are that
Mm.
I'm like, no, I'm gonna fuck that up and hurt somebody.
So a talisman is an object, typically an inscribed ring or stone, that is thought to have magic powers and to bring good luck. So could the art be a magical object? Could it have magic powers? I guess is the question.
I'm convinced that it does just because of the nature of what it is. Um, I just don't I don't elect the time that I create it. because and maybe at some point in my education, I'll come to trust myself that I know enough to do that because I think it'd be cool as fuck. I'm really drawn to it. But I on purpose don't elect the time because, and don't like say prayers to the planetary gods and bring their energy through because that's serious, serious magic. You've got to get it right. But I know that these are talismans in and of themselves because this is the moment that a soul had enough potency to come into a body and to sacredly make it into art. It contains power. Like it is activating whether or not you understand it. I tell people to put it on their altars and to use it in their magic whether or not their brains understand it.
Mhm.
Do, do people use the shapes of their charts as a
Oh yeah,
sigils?
yeah. Kim Strickland was talking about that, where you could take the aspects and just draw the aspect lines itself, and that itself was just a sigil.
Yeah, yeah, I use mine like that. I did it in a light bright.
That's
I have a
Oh,
light bright of my aspects
interesting.
as a
Interesting.
symbol.
Huh.
that's a really cool idea. I'm gonna sit with that.
You still
Absolutely.
have it?
Yeah, it's in the other room.
Oh
Can
my
you show
gosh.
us?
Yeah, yeah, hold on.
Yes,
I love that.
I'm thinking of making like, okay, so let's say I wanted to make a Mars bouquet of beads. So it would be like, yeah, I'd wait for a Marshall moment. Then I would take all the Marshall colors, like all reds, and I would make like a really red bouquet made under the Mars moment. And maybe I'd put spikes on it or flame beads or something like that. Like, so I think even the idea that it was made under a Mars moment, even if it's not consecrated or whatever, you could tell whoever it's given to, like, this bouquet was made under Mars. Like, so even the intention that it was made under Mars energy, it would just that in and of itself would give the tone of Mars and give them that kind of, it would be magical in that fashion, perhaps.
Did you see how like when you did that, your camera shook and it was like it just look back on it when you get the recording. It looked like you were just making power come through.
Dude, I was manifesting a Mars bouquet right there.
Whoa.
All right, JC, show us.
Oh, all right. Yeah, here we go. This is the light bright of the sigil of my chart.
Very cool.
Wow, that is cool. So is that art? Like, how do we classify art? How do we know? Hold on one sec.
While she's doing a thing, do you have
Mhm.
a diamond? Do you have a kite?
I do.
So do I.
Ah, nice.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that's cool. That's quite an aspect pattern.
Double
Ah, yeah,
diamond.
yeah.
We got double diamonds here. I know they call it a kite. I like calling it a diamond. Venus and Capricorn. I mean, come on.
Ah, nice.
I have to
Nice.
burn
Hold
some
on.
sage because of Mars.
Oh,
Oh,
oh, I want to burn sage.
Billy said I have sage presence.
Ah, I get
Oh!
it.
Okay.
Ah.
Um, let's actually talk about that. Like, how do we define craft versus art? And does that matter?
That's a great question.
Thanks. That's why I'm the host.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
make up
What's
great
your
questions.
answer, Eve,
You're
to
good.
that great question?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think that it can be both. It can be craft and art, but there's also art that's I'm thinking on my feet here. We'll see. I feel like there's art that's not craft. You know, like art for art's sake, that's not so much craft. Like craft really connotates magic, and sometimes that's just practical magic, you know, like people will make baskets and that's a craft, and that basket is for going and gathering fruit and bringing it home and being able to eat it and nourish your family. But like that's magic. You know, it's practical magic, but that's magic. You went and you got sustenance that kept your family alive. Um, and so, like, my art is definitely both. It's art because it's beautiful and it is, you know, visual arts are like classically defined as art, but it's also craft because I am very much on purpose doing it magically for a practical outcome. Those are just some of my off the cuff thoughts on that.
What do you think, Jay-Z?
Well, I think it's interesting, the word craft, right? So in this case, craft isn't like craftsmanship so much as like magical craft, like so that's really yeah, interesting to me. And as far as like, is it art or crafty, like a hobby craft, Um, I don't know that it matters.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like they're a Venn diagram for sure. Like you're definitely there's an overlap of the two, but it does seem like they're different. But maybe it's just in how we want to like perceive it socially, like you can't charge $100,000 for a craft, but you can charge $100,000 for a piece of art. And so like the way that we perceive it is going to dictate its value. I think there's something of value
Hmm.
in the distinction, but that's just
And
perception.
and that's just monetary value,
Yes.
right? That's not the value to a person. Like, what is its value to you?
Right.
So, but maybe it's yeah, a thing that like because people in our society have to work to earn money, they want to trade the time that they spent earning that money for something that they perceive has a value that they can convey to someone else,
Mm.
and not just themselves. And then I guess, Andy, this brings us again to like intrinsic versus extrinsic value of things,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah. When I think about art and craft, okay, so like I think you can craft a thing. Like let's say we're making a painting or a beaded thing, we're like, and then I crafted the beads or whatever. It's like it's a process in some ways of constructing the piece of art would be the craftsmanship in some ways. But I think one of the things that develop and then it's like when I think of astrology art, right, or craft, like having a bunch of Scorpio keychains that are like formulaic and the same feels more like a craft. Like I crafted these Scorpio keychains.
Right.
Right. But if I make Scorpio keychains to or a Scorpio bouquet to a person's chart exactly, and I artisanally, it's there's not a replica of it anywhere, and in some ways that's more art, you know. But then I think, okay, so this, I'm just thinking out loud. I hope you guys don't mind. So. I do a lot of crafting for people. Like I got this kit in the mail. Like I feel like kits are very crafty. And so this is it's a Leo the Lion embroidery, which is just beautiful. And it's like it's okay to craft. It's not like you can't craft if you're an artist, right? You can be a crafting artist, right? But okay, maybe if I change the colors, like I never make these true to the kit. Like I'll change it to the colors of the chart, for example, or I might put their moon colors in here on the beads instead of or something like that. But maybe that would be artistically rendering this craft or
Uh-huh.
something, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think of that?
I'm kind of
Yeah.
getting this vibe, this like Virgo Pisces vibe, where there's the Virgo craft and the Pisces art, but they're both two sides of the same coin.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel art seems like more conceptual to me. Like if you think of a concept that is like these YouTube videos that we do, these interviews are kind of a craft. Like they're kind of it's not a crazy concept behind this. It's like we're interviewing Eve on a topic and they're kind of it's like a same structure. And in some ways we're crafting a YouTube channel. But
Yeah.
then we have art videos too, which is like it's like
Yeah.
all like avant-garde and there's clowns and accordions and it's just like
So cool.
it
I
kind of
love
create
them.
oh thank you. It kind of creates a more poetic text whereas craft creates a more linear text
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think it does still tie into that. Like, this has a practical purpose and this is like art for art's sake, and they overlap,
Do you
and like
consider,
magic falls into both categories.
I like that point that you could have magical craft or magical art. Like a craft, it doesn't take away from the magic of whatever is made. Like you could sacredly make a craft,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like more interpretation too to something that's more on the art side.
Mm.
Like, because there's less interpretation. So, Andy, you got me turned on to doing paint by numbers, which are fun to do. And I haven't really finished a paint by number without like going off on a tangent and putting other things in it or using it as a background to put something else on top of it. But then it's like the person who looks at it is like, wait, if this was just a paint by number, I would know what to expect and how to interpret it. But now there's this boat coming out of it, and like, what does that mean?
Yeah,
Mhm.
well, it even makes me think of some of your pieces are more craft, and some of them are very arty. Like the scrolls in some ways looked crafted to me because they're kind of similar, and it's like you're crafting, and not that they're not art, but I'm just saying they're more like if you order a scroll, it's going to be your chart, but it kind of has a certain crafted look to it. But then you do these kind of artistic renderings, like I remember the one with the Cancer and the moon rising, or like I feel like you have some very arty pieces as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then that makes me think of like craft being a little bit more um what do you call it when they're multimedia? So, like maybe you'll see the art is a painting, but the craft is, well, there's a scroll and that's made out of silk, and then there's bamboo wood on either end holding it, and then there's a piece of paper that's fixed to the scroll that then has a painting on top of it, and then there's a ribbon tying it, and then there's a ribbon around the painting. And so there's like this multimedia, like mixed media. There's all these different elements of it crafted together, where a painting is like paint on a canvas.
Hmm. I feel like this is a whole episode of like what is art and what is craft, but I think
Totally.
not that it really matters. I think the point that we should take away from this is it doesn't matter if you craft something to the chart or you make art about the chart. They can both be magical and you're making sacred objects for people, thinking of them personally as you're crafting or making the thing. And that is what makes it sacred, is like the thought and intention put
Yeah.
into it in some way. I mean, the crafted Scorpio keychains, if we're not thinking of anyone we're making, we're just making Scorpio keychains, maybe they're not as sacred as if I'm making this Scorpio keychain for you for a certain reason or something. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I have another question for us. How can we use art as a remedy for hard things in a natal chart?
Mm. Like um what's the astro word? Remediation
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
with art.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't done that, and that just lit a light bulb off in my brain because yes, absolutely. And I wonder again about like something I've thought a lot about doing that I haven't done is having workshops with people where I'm teaching them how to create art out of their chart, and doing something like a workshop where people are remediating their chart through creating art around a difficult placement. I think
Mm,
that would be, I mean, that's like art therapy on steroids.
mm. That's a really good idea. So if somebody had like a Mars Saturn conjunction, you could say like, what are your feelings about this? What's wrong? And then you would just maybe guide them into making something around that aspect kind of thing.
Oh my God, I love it so much. And I think because a lot of people are like, well, I can't do that because I don't paint. But even as a one-on-one, you could do a session with someone where you're guiding them through just abstract painting. It's just like, no, we've got colors, we've got a canvas, we've got some brushes, you can use your hands, we've got other tools that you can use, and you're just going to pick the colors of, like, we'll go into the chart like a reading, and you're going to pick the colors that you're really feeling coming through because we're looking at this difficultly placed aspect that's maybe being activated right now by transit. and then you're going to do some therapeutic art around it, and then that is part of the remediation of it, and even engaging, taking that piece home and engaging with it.
Mm.
Mm,
Future.
and maybe they could do like a couple pieces. Like one is like expressing the difficulties about that aspect. And then another would be like exploring the benefits of that aspect. Like what are the strengths and what does this help you achieve in life, you know?
Wow. I mean, see what this conversation is making me just like even more aware, and that's why I was so excited to have it with other astrologers of how important art is in our discipline.
Hmm.
It's like the three of us can sit here and talk about all this, but we also have what we're doing and what we're doing every day to build our businesses and how we're making money, and like to bring it all through is not something that we can maybe achieve anytime soon. But like to pass on this inspiration to people to engage with astrology in this way is it's so 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 important to broaden our experience of our discipline.
Yeah, I think more than any other discipline I've ever met, art and astrology, because it is so much tone and expression of feelings and all these, we're like mood specialists and all these things. I mean, art is one of our bigger tools. So it makes me think of that case of somebody have a weak Mars. Like we could have them make, maybe we don't make a talisman for them, but we time a really strong Mars moment and we say, we want you to channel down Mars energy into a painting on this transit. And then we want you to have that on your wall and remember what that feels like and remember that Mars energy. That would be kind of cool for like bolstering someone's Mars.
Totally. And you could just tell them that in a reading.
Mhm.
Like it comes through in the reading that they're having challenges and it's around this challenging placement. It's being activated right now. And then that can just be their homework.
Yeah.
And you can tune in, you can like talk to them about like, okay, what is something that you would like to create? Like it can be art, it can be craft, it can be a painting, it can be beading, it can be, all these, but like something with color and movement and form that you do with your hands. And here's the date for you to do it.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea, like a prescription.
Yeah. Prescription.
Oh my God,
Yes.
I'm gonna remember that. Can I tell you
Oh,
guys a story about remedying things with art?
yeah.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, this is in the book Astrological Remediation, so I can talk about it publicly. But so we had this woman who wanted to participate in this project, and she had a Mercury square Neptune, and her Mercury is in Virgo, square Neptune is Sagittarius. And when she would have transits to it, she would start seeing spirits, and she couldn't tell what was real and what was not. I mean, she's very psychic at this on this square. And to the point where she was almost going to go on benzodiazepine. And so for schizophrenia symptoms or whatever. And so what we tried to do with her instead was say, we would time all these transits to it and we would say, can you make art on
Oh,
transits to this when you're seeing spirits and things? So
yes.
that we're not testing you against reality, but we're saying just show us what you're seeing. And
Yes.
she did it. She made all these amazing collages. Like you should see them. They were so beautiful. And that's one of the beauties of Neptune is the visioning of creations. I mean, the last transit I had onto my moon square Neptune, I visioned this thing, and I was like, I had to do it. It was like this beaded clown thing or whatever. But the thing is like artists get like these visions, right? And it's like schizophrenia is like visions, right? And it's like the point is what we try to do is have her channel the vision
Handle it.
as it was happening. And she
Yes.
did not go on benzodiazepine and she no longer felt crazy after that. So that
Yep.
was the successful use of the
Oh, I mean, that's it. That's it. That's what we're like, such a problem in this culture is just like, oh, you have mental problems. No, you don't have mental problems. You are perceiving something that is just like, you don't know what to do with it. And it's just like just spinning you off your rocker. You got to channel it. You need to create.
yes, yeah. So I think Neptune problems are probably the biggest one I would say as far as remedies go in art is and maybe what do you guys think of Venus problems? Like Jesse,
Mm.
can I talk about your chart?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, your Venus Saturn conjunction, like is that remedied by art?
Or remediable.
Yeah. Does making stuff, I wonder, help it?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. That's a
What
good
sign?
question. Pisces.
Oh, wow. Venus, Saturn, Pisces.
Mhm. Does seem very arty.
It does seem like you could remediate that with art.
Yeah.
Something to ponder.
Yeah, I think the thing with my Venus Saturn conjunction is it just like yeah, it kind of I feel like I need to put a damper on my beauty or something like that. You
Mm.
know,
Like your
to be
beauty's too
more
much.
manly,
Oh,
to be
interesting.
more yeah, it's too wimpy.
Well, you know what's interesting about you though is you're making me think of music as as an artistic remedy for transits or channeling of energies of planets, right? It's like because
Yeah.
like I love when you play your guitar and sing like Bruce Springsteen songs and stuff, and it's like that feels like very manly version of Venus and Pisces is like kind of manly romance songs, you know, and stuff like that. And so,
Oh, yeah, Springsteen is great for that expression.
well, it's Saturday night. Sorry, no. But.
In the dark.
Okay, we have 2 minutes, Eve. Anything else you want us to know or hear about in the 2 minutes? And also, where can people find you?
So people can find me on my website. I'm on Instagram and I am on YouTube as well. And then I just started back up my Substack. So that's what I'm most excited about right now is my Substack. I started a moon temple for women. That's a virtual space for us to track our cyclical relationship with the moon to ground ourselves into this crazy reality through what is we're actually quite in tune with. So I'm really excited about that too. That opens back up in on the equinox. Um, yeah, so eveningstarmaps.com is my website, and you can get to everything that I mentioned from there.
Nice. Well, will you email me all the links so I can put them in the description?
I
Well,
will do that.
Eve, you're one of our first artists who ever t reached out to us with a topic, and so I just want to give you an A plus for being a go-getter.
Thank you. It's been such a delight. I'd love to do it again.
All right. Well, you just let us know. All right.
Will do.
Thank you all. Great job thinking on your feet, Jay-Z.
Oh, thanks.
All right. Bye, Eve.
You too.
It's been great. Mwah.
Yep.
Mm.
Bye bye.